the last nautical mile of getting kit and personnel ashore. It's so much more than transferring equipment from A to B. This operation, taking place at a naval base on the coast of Albania, encompasses elite commando divers, maritime logistics specialists, and crews from the merchant navy. We're in the Balkans, a region that knows a thing or two about conflict, and exercising here with NATO allies means more than it does elsewhere. The naval base here was built by the Soviets in the aftermath of the Second World War. It was intended to be a sort of Gibraltar of the East. Today, Albania is a fully fledged member of NATO, and its future looks firmly to the west. When communism ended in Albania, the country traversed a tumultuous decade, culminating in the Civil War of 1997. Decades on, today, Albania is a fully fledged member of NATO, which allows UK military personnel to engage with its ally, and in the context of this exercise, Austere Wolf 2024, collaborate on this demonstration of force deployment.
So we're deployed in Albania on Exercise Austere Wolf, which is an annual deployment of either 8th Engineer Brigade or 104 Brigade, and it's a biannual turnaround between those two brigade headquarters. But what we are doing is bringing together theatre enabling group capabilities into a real austere environment and proving that we have the ability to activate an operational theatre anywhere we choose to around the world.
The maritime logistical experts responsible for getting the payload here are personnel from 17 Port and Maritime Regiment, Royal Logistic Corps. Over the course of a week, they've transferred everything the Army needs from the UK mainland via this ship, one of 4 the Ministry of Defence keeps under constant contract. It's like a giant floating military garrison. There's enough kit on here to start a small war.
So I'll show you around. So we've got the radars here. At anchor, we're monitoring continuously the position of the vessel using these, so we're taking bearings and distances off the known landmarks around us and making sure that we are moving away from those landmarks too much. So that's how we're monitoring that we're not dragging anchor.
There's a lot that goes into choosing the right location to land an army. That's where elite commando divers step in. It's their job to covertly identify spots like this, checking the seabed for obstacles, the coastline for enemy traps.
So we've been in the water this morning, prepping all the kit beforehand, and then heading out. And basically, we've been doing reconnaissance. So beach recce's, working out our entrance route in. You might have seen earlier on the floating pontoon coming through. And basically, we're working out where the best entrance place for that is. So we've been underwater, tasking it out, and basically just checking for any debris, things like that. And we actually have located some. And now the later on task will be to remove that and obviously clear it for later manoeuvres.
Just tell me a little bit, Jack, about being a sapper but being a diver. I mean, what's that like? What's your career like, and why is it different to everybody else's?
We kind of like, as an engineer, you have all your trade. So obviously I'm traded in being an electrician, so I've got all that trade experience going through that. Then obviously you're a combat engineer, so you've got that as well. When I first joined up to my unit, obviously passed my commando course and then went down and started seeing all the dive team and things like that. I was like, I definitely want to get involved with that, so jumped on it at the first opportunity and never looked back really, because they do all the fun stuff.
Once the landing point is identified, the work of transferring the force onto land begins. The central means of doing so revolves around what's known as a mexifloat, or more commonly referred to as the roll-on, roll-off. It does exactly what it says on the tin. This being an austere environment, it's not always plain sailing. The tonnage and sheer size of something like this Oshkosh presents the soldiers with additional considerations. The force brings with it experts, such as Royal Engineers, should there be a need to construct or repair part of the beach. It all helps the operation succeed. The exercise is as realistic as possible. There's a field kitchen so everyone can get fed, and the soldiers are sleeping underneath ponchos.
So we've found a bit of piping on the floor, and then obviously a bottle that we've just makeshift, and then we lift this up, and then just turn the dial, and then nice little shower.
Hey presto.
Yeah.
At the cookhouse, food's in the oven, ready to feed the hungry troops.
So we've got an operational field kitchen on the go, which we can cater for anywhere between 100 and 500 people. Comes in modules, so it allows us to add and take away as and when we need during the exercise. We would use this system if we were to deploy anywhere. So with Austere Wolf 24, it's all about getting to location and feeding the troops as quick as possible. So it could take anywhere between an hour and 4 hours to set up the kitchen itself, depending on how many modules we need, tents, and then we have the 10-man ration packs to feed the soldiers with.
Austere Wolf is happening at the same time as other key UK NATO deployments across the region. 200 miles to the north, a British Army infantry battalion is deployed into Kosovo. And thanks to a period of superb military relations with Albania, commanders from their army's most elite units have spent time in Sandhurst.
And we are learning from each other. Even we are the small country, but we have a lot of experience in operation and exercise outside the Albania, and we have a lot of guys which are educated in Western academies, and they have very good knowledge, and to exchange this knowledge, it's very important for me, actually.
Albania are our partner, a NATO member, as are 2 other countries in the region, working very closely together, learning from each other. About what we can practically do to ensure the security of this region.
What can you tell me, Colonel, just to wrap up, about coming to Albania and about conducting these types of exercises? How is it?
If you would ask any soldier, pretty much any soldier, who's working on the beach today, whether they've ever been to Albania before, the answer would be probably no. And what they're seeing here is a country they've never been to. They're experiencing culture. They're linking in with true Albanians who are really genuinely interested in what we're doing. And of course, Albania has been vying for UK defence to be involved here for some time now. The great thing about being a soldier at 17 Porter Maritime Regiment is that we're deployed around the world perennially. And so my soldiers are in Australia at the moment, they're in Diego Garcia, they're off the Horn of Africa, I've got people in Singapore, I've got people over in America. So we're perpetually deployed everywhere around the world. So our soldiers truly are global soldiers delivering for UK defence, and I think that's pretty cool.
In these internationally precarious times, a challenging deployment like this tests the UK military's ability to implement its forces into difficult environments. It also demonstrates to anybody watching, friend or foe, that the UK military and its partners mean business. It can get its people and its kit anywhere in the world. James Wharton, BFBS Forces News, Vlore, Albania.